If you've been convicted and sentenced in federal court, you may want to take an appeal of that. And here's a brief overview of how federal criminal appeals work. The first thing that happens after sentencing is you have to file a notice of appeal. You've got to file it within 14 days of when the sentence is imposed or when the judgment comes down, and the courts are very, very strict about that. That is one deadline you do not want to miss, one deadline you cannot miss. After that's filed, you'll have to file some docketing statements, some initial statements with the court so that the clerk's office knows how to handle the case. And the court reporter will have to prepare transcripts if they haven't been prepared before. About 45 days after all of that's done, when the court will issue a briefing schedule and will give you 45 days to file your opening brief. In your opening brief, your lawyer will lay out what happened to you in the trial court, what happened to you before, what was wrong with that, and why the court should do something different, why the court should order a different result. It's a lengthy document, and it will contain a number of citations to things that happened before and to other cases, and will really try to persuade the court that what happened to you is wrong or is illegal and needs to be addressed. After your brief goes in, the government will have time to file its brief. It gets to file a brief too, and they'll respond to the arguments that you make and say this is wrong, this is right, this is what we think should happen. After the government files a brief, you'll have a few weeks to file a reply brief yourself, and that'll respond to the points the government made and reaffirm the points that you made in your brief. After that, the appeal goes to a panel of 3 judges, the 3 federal circuit judges, normally, who are appointed by the president, and they sit in their job for life. They have life tenure, and they'll look at the pleadings. They may order oral argument, or they may decide it without oral argument. If they order oral argument, then your lawyer and the lawyer for the government will go, and you'll each get a chance to argue your case to those judges, to say why you think the case should be reversed or why, in the government's case, they think it shouldn't. And then they'll decide, those 3 judges. After they decide, the party that lost might be able to ask the court to rehear the case. They might be able to ask the Supreme Court to hear the case. And at the end of that process, that's the end of the appeal.